Hey guys, welcome back. Today I have something special for you all. Multiple people have messaged me and asked me to basically do an overview of how it is I get my fundamentals and how it is that I use Market Edge AI. So I'm going to be brutally honest with you. It is like so simple to use, it's not even funny. I'm going to show you how I use it. There's a lot of features it has that I don't even utilize because I don't trade stocks, obviously. But I'm going to show you guys the features I use. The reason I like this app over everything else is the interface they gave it, how easy they've made it to understand fundamentals. So even if you're brand new to trading and you know nothing about fundamentals, they've made it very interactive and very easy for someone that has little knowledge to understand what the fundamental means. For any of you that have been trading for quite a while, you know that technicals plus fundamentals means a way higher probability trade than just relying on technicals alone. So let's go into how I start my day. So I cheat a little bit every morning. They've added a new feature in called Daily Bias. I actually look at this and do a quick read to see what it says before I even do my own analysis. A lot of times it gets me on the right path of what I missed while I was asleep. If anything happened, maybe an Asia session, or maybe there was a wild Trump tweet over tariffs or something. So I trade gold. So I'm gonna do this review particularly focused on gold. However, as you can see, they cover all other assets, all your majors, all your minors, whatever you can think of, it's here. We'll touch on the stocks and stuff too. I'll show it to you guys, even though I don't use the features, they are there. Right in the morning, I come in, I do a quick little read. Their little AI is gonna tell you what's driving price already. So if I look at this right now, gold's consolidating just before 3,600. So this was at 3:20 a.m. I had this. I get to the charts about 5 a.m. So my analysis is ready before I wake up. That's the way this is set for me. I mainly focus on gold, obviously. So I come in, I sit down, I could see gold was consolidating just below 3,600 per ounce. Tells us why we hit the 3,600 per ounce. Price quickly overviews the 22,000 jobs added by NFP on Friday versus the 78,000 expected. Also, we're anticipating the rate cut, which is roughly a week and a half away. Weaker US dollar with targets of 3,700 to 4,000. Okay, very simple, right? Nothing complex. If I don't understand any of the fundamentals or how it works, they've made it really easy. We have these four little things down here that tell us what's actually impacting the current price, what's driving the price. And as data changes and data comes in, these percentages will change. So this is my quick and dirty approach in the morning, where I do a quick 2-3 minute read to see if there's anything that really changed. And after that, I get into the little more detailed analysis, and this is where I go a little bit beyond this. So now I start with the home button. They added this cool little feature if you hit trending, and what trending is it's all the users of Market Edge AI. If they decide a news has any impact or weight, or it's significant, you can actually hit this button, and the more people hit the button, the more weight it has. So even if I haven't had the time to read through all the different sentiments and news that are getting pushed out, I know that there's other users that might have caught what I missed. So because they're also traders, they're also going to be looking at the strength of the dollar. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you trade, you're going to care about the strength of the US dollar. For the most part, it's going to affect you in some shape or form. So they've added this great feature where everyone can basically say if it's got weight or not. I can look at the time. Now this is where it gets really cool. US stocks, Wall Street gains as market bet on September rate cuts. NASDAQ hits record high. Cool. How does that affect my asset? Well, let's click on the little brain. Look at that. Bullish for stocks, bullish for bonds, bullish for gold, bearish for dollar. Very simple. If I'm lazy and I don't even want to read all the information, which I don't recommend you skip, I think it's always good to know what the market's doing. They've made it very easy. Now, if you look right above this, we have the Market AI Sentiment Index. And how does it work? We have risk on, we have risk off. Risk on means investors feel good about putting money into equities, so your stocks. So if this number is really high, money's flowing into stocks. If this money's kind of in the middle, I don't really use this for much. Whereas if this is risk aversion or panic selling, money's more going into safe havens and bonds. So that's kind of how the cycle works. Now, because these fellas made it so easy, you can just scroll over every one of these bubbles and it'll tell you what they mean. And the cool thing is these update real time. They are indicators, so they are a little bit lagging. You do have to kind of understand that, hey, the market's doing this because of this. For the most part, this gets you on the right side of the market more often than not. If I had to be completely honest with you guys, if I had to subscribe to one tool for trading aside from TradingView, this would be it. My trading journal I can do right on TradingView. A lot of my other subscriptions that I have I don't need. This is one I would not part with. They were actually nice enough to provide us with a 10% off coupon for all our viewers, which I'll link down below. So let's go to the next part of this now. Here we have the important market news. So I'm sitting there, price is consolidating, it's not doing anything. Hey, let's do a quick little read to see what the market's doing. Cool, I've caught up on what the whole market's done in the next 5 minutes. Next we have the capital inflows. Is money pouring into indices, or is money pouring into safe havens, or are both going on, or are things really mixed? So once again, very easy. The other part of this that I like, so you can see obviously mine's again customized for gold because that's the only thing I trade. So if I click on this, it will actually do a 1 hour, a daily, and a weekly analysis. Now I can get into the little more detailed analysis of what's going on with gold. And by the way, this is if I clicked on Euro USD, or I clicked on Facebook, or I clicked on Netflix, it would give you the same kind of report of what's driving the asset price. So very simple, and you can kind of just see, again, really clean interface. You can click on any of these and they've gotten it down to a sentence or two to explain exactly what it means. You can see how simple the wording is. You don't need a degree from some fancy university to understand what this means. So when I started trading, there wasn't a lot of good, easy to use interfaces when it came to fundamentals. These guys have kind of changed the game for that. So you can kind of see how AI is being utilized all over the industry. And I'm a big advocate for AI in many different ways, including using them to build EAs, using them to auto journal. Like I use AI for a lot of things, and this is one of the great things. So we've gone over the daily bias. Currencies is essentially another cool little thing. So they actually are hooked into Dominion markets, and you can actually see what retail's doing at that broker. So if I click on gold, you can see that 39% are buying and 60% are selling. Usually retail's on the wrong side of the market. Would I use this for actual interpretation or to do much with? Not really. But it's just good to know because generally, I would say 2/3 of the time, retail's going the wrong direction. Obviously, they have their news, which you can essentially click on and it'll tell you what it does. So let's find CPI. So let's click on this. So you can see it'll show you historical data, how inflation's coming down. Now, this is where it gets cool. If you don't know how this news is going to react for your asset, let's say you trade Euro USD or something, you can press impact and it'll tell you what it actually does for, in what case, higher than forecast, lower than forecast, in line with forecast, and it'll tell you if it's bearish or bullish for your asset. So if you get in and you're just like, hey, CPIs today, you would come to this section, you would click on the little brain, and you would be like, hey, I trade Euro USD or GBP USD or whatever. If this comes out lower than forecast, what does it do for me? Most of us already know that, but if you don't and you're learning fundamentals, this is a great way to learn. So this is kind of the bulk of what I use. Now, they've added a few new features. So this one's kind of big. I like this one. So do you know when you look at a big candle and you don't know what it did? So you can actually go and be like, what caused this large impulse? And if you just click on it, it'll actually tell you what drove price to do this. And for those of you that are maybe back testing data and you see a big candle and you want to come here and look into history or whatever the case may be, they've made it so that you can go review individual candles and essentially, you know, anything that interests you. What created this candle? Oh, we have another big candle. What made this one? Oh, cool. Gold spiked as US jobs came out much weaker than expected. And then they have the relevant headline news. And this is kind of a cool feature. So this is one they've recently added in. I think it's a bit of a game changer for many people. Many people. Because as we know, especially in a trend, if a trend retests one of those big news candles and it's in line with trend, there's a good chance that news candle is holding for a continuation, as institutions will protect it. That's one of the uses I have for it. Calendar is exactly what you think it is. It's their economic calendar. So all their stuff is very interactive. If you hit the little brain, it'll tell you exactly what it's doing, what it was doing, what it's expected to do. Impact summary, report summary. As the report comes out, there will be a report here. So this news hasn't come out yet, so it's obviously not populated. So very user friendly. For those of you that trade stocks, there's earnings reports in here and stuff. And we have the infamous Trump tracker. So before Trump, the president didn't move the market as much or at all for that matter. Today, we have a president that can send a tweet and the market spikes or crashes. So when they first released, myself and many others asked them for this feature that essentially followed Trump news so that we could see if there was a high possibility of Trump doing something highly volatile. So this little Trump tracker will actually tell you, hey, he's got a bunch of events scheduled. He's speaking 3 times today. Be very cautious as Trump could do something like Trump does. Or, hey, Trump's not scheduled to do anything. Cool. I don't have to worry about Trump ruining my trade today. So this is a pretty cool feature. I actually think this is probably one of my favorite features because like I used to have to scan Twitter and have my phone open pretty much on the White House page. I also follow a Truth Social repost page just to see if Trump said something. So I no longer have to do that. What used to be an hour and a half or 2 hours of scanning for information turned into 10 minutes a day. And essentially, once you get your homepage built out the way you want it and you got your assets on here, you don't really even need to leave the homepage. I did want to show you guys this. Again, another new feature they added in, COT report. I don't personally use these, but they are nice to know to see where institutions are positioned. Cool. I trade gold. Institutions are 82% longs on gold. Right in line with fundamentals, right in line with rate cuts. This all makes sense. It just adds on to my bias, right? So again, I don't use these, but a lot of people do. The last thing I wanted to show you guys is the Equities, dashboard they have. And this might be the prettiest thing they built. They got their little globe here. And what I like about it is, even though I don't trade the markets, I can look at it simply and you can essentially tell how every market's performing. So if everything's red, the market's selling off, money's going into safe havens. If everything's green, it's the opposite. If stuff is green and red, we're mixed. So generally, this is a good way to gauge what the market's doing too. Again, I don't really do a lot here. I do like to check the S&P 500 versus bonds. And because we have so much time where we're waiting for a setup, it's nice to kind of refresh your mind, come in here, refocus, and get away from just technicals and be like, what are the fundamentals doing? Cool. Fundamentals are bullish. Technicals are bullish. I'm waiting for this level. That's my trade. Or everything's mixed. Maybe it's not a good idea to touch the market until I see more. Aside from that, the live news you guys seen, Trump tracker, probably my favorite feature. Candle analysis would probably be my second. Overall, they've built like the simplest, most friendly interface that anyone can use, and it's clean. Oh, this is the last thing I wanted to show you guys. So this I use. So I only analyze the US dollar. However, you can analyze whatever currency you're into or whatever market you're into. And what this is this is the performance, and I can kind of see if stuff's going down, going up, or it's flatlining. So for example, CPI, we can see inflation's coming down. GDP, we can see GDP's getting worse. Retail sales are kind of mixed. They're not really going up or down. ISM's kind of staying in line, both manufacturing and PMI. So this kind of gives me an overall economy health outlook, I guess you could say. So we can see unemployment is starting to slowly climb, but it's still not that bad. CPI is coming down, but now we're expecting inflation to uptick due to Trump's tariffs. GDP is overall declining. This is expected due to Trump's tariffs, so everything's kind of in line. But this gives you a gradual overview of what the economy looks like as a whole. And there is one other thing I look at, and this is the other side of gold. I'll look at DXY sometimes to see what's driving the dollar, as a lot of times they have an inverse relationship. Not always, but a lot of times. I would say 70-80% of the time they're inverse. So this kind of tells me what's going on with the dollar, why the dollar's weak, and it all comes back to weak jobs and expected cuts. So that's about it. Really nothing to it. Again, for me, I mostly stay on the homepage. I'll do a quick little flip through in the beginning, but I'll usually kind of bounce between trending and all and just kind of see what news and what's coming out or if anything's changing. If you guys aren't using this tool, I highly recommend you do. The only thing it's gonna do for you is help you filter for higher quality trades. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.